The National Coffee Association is proud to celebrate its 100th anniversary. The NCA's story started in 1909 when a yellow fever scare shut down the Port of New Orleans, all but cutting off the supply of coffee in America. Benjamin Cassanis and William Jones of New Orleans contacted Carl Stoffregen of St. Louis, and, with his assistance, the entrepreneurs obtained sufficient supplies of coffee to carry on their business. They recognized the need for a coffee trade organization, which would help solve future problems. Thus, in 1911, the National Coffee Roasters Association was formed, with 27 coffee roasting firms attending the event. By the 1920s, the U.S. was in the grips of prohibition and thirsty for a rich, non-alcoholic drink. Coffee also gained popularity in the 20s as a result of the Prescott Report, a medical study that detailed many of caffeine's health benefits. In the 1930s, the NCA changed its name and makeup, inviting green coffee traders into the group. The consumption promotion programs the NCA developed at this time not only counterbalanced the weak economy, they also embedded coffee into the American psyche. The day-to-day strains of the Second Great War included rationing, price rollbacks, ceiling prices, and of course, the challenge of supplying fresh, delicious coffee to the troops around the world. The NCA took the lead in conducting these negotiations and expanded their board to be more inclusive across the industry. The 1950s were a time of great energy, optimism, and expansion in America, and for the NCA. In 1958, the association embarked on Good Coffee Deserves Good Brewing, an ambitious campaign to get roasters to provide consumers brewing instructions and coffee measures. By year's end, the majority of coffee cans and bags on retail shelves told consumers how to brew the beverage properly. And as a result of decades of successful promotion campaigns, the coffee break was written into most labor union contracts. The coffee industry was changing as fast as the rest of the world in the 1960s. Melita introduced vacuum packaging, Dow Egbert introduced liquid coffee, and the world fell in love with Juan Valdez, the character who came to symbolize Colombian coffee. The NCA created the Foreign Affairs Committee to inform the U.S. role in the International Coffee Agreement, which governed export quotas. Consumption-promoting campaigns in the 60s included Iced Coffee 8 Ways, Coffee Countdown, The Magic Bean, the Coffee House Movement, and other youth programs. The decade of change ended in 1969 with a new beginning. News cameras showed the Apollo 11 crew enjoying coffee the morning of their historic mission. The energy crisis drove up freight rates and threatened national price controls. The NCA played a decisive role negotiating around these obstacles for the membership. The NCA took the PR and communications lead in tackling a number of weather-related crises, such as the 1975 frost that devastated the Brazilian coffee crop. The NCA's There's No Substitute for Coffee campaign was a hands-down success. Consumption campaigns such as The Achievers led the way in the pop culture 80s, featuring stars like David Bowie and Cicely Tyson. Over the years, the NCA spent millions in medical research to counter any and all concerns on coffee and caffeine safety. The 80s saw a new ICA agreement negotiated, and the collapse of the quota system. Following the collapse of the quota system, growing discontent drove the U.S. out of the ICA in 1993. The NCA continues to address food safety claims through medical research and PR campaigns. The NCA established the Fall Education Program. Vietnam emerges as the world's second-largest producer, and Robert Nelson joins the NCA as president and CEO. The September 11th terrorist attacks forced the evacuation of the NCA headquarters in Lower Manhattan. The Producer Committee is established. Gourmet coffee becomes more popular. The Coffee Delivers campaign highlights the health benefits of coffee.
A cup of coffee a day may keep the doctor away.
And Mary Williams is elected the first chairwoman of the NCA. The NCA states its position on sustainable coffee, combats the low-price coffee crisis, and forges partnerships with Data Monitor and Cup of Excellence to provide more accurate market and quality information to members. A new ICA agreement is reached, and the U.S. rejoins after the NCA recommendation. In 2011, the 7th ICA agreement becomes effective, and the U.S. remains a member. The NCA continues to tackle legislative and regulatory issues, crisis communication, knowledge management, and consumption promotion of the world's favorite and most delicious beverage. Thank you for 100 years of support and membership.